Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We're extremely excited to host this panel. I just was going to start by, first of all, thanking the Coalition for Rainforest Nations for hosting us and hosting this panel. We're extremely excited to be here today and really talking about the UN's SDGs and missions, really taking them from the global into local action. But before I introduce my prestigious panel to my left, I was just going to give you a little bit of an overview of me. I'm Ethel Bunch. I am founder and CEO of Sustain South Carolina. That might raise a few eyebrows. Everybody has said more than once they think I'm the only person from South Carolina in COP right now, but that may not be true. And so our mission is to connect the sustainability goals of companies in the private sector in South Carolina with local solutions. So we have 1,200 global companies in our state, and each of them have very ambitious net zero waste, water positive goals, and we are making those connections on a very, very local level, which I think resonates with this COP, because what we're hearing is it's time to go from ambition to action and implementation. So what we have done, how we really got into utilizing the SDG framework and really translating that ambition into action was at the last COP27 that I attended, and really seeing how the SDGs was that global vernacular, that North Star, that compass that all of our member companies were using to report out their sustainability goals. The next thing that happened was the SDSN came out with rankings. And South Carolina, the United States report showed South Carolina 37th out of 50 states. We're kind of used to that in some things. But what the issue was it was a competitive strategy, because it wasn't just California that was ahead of us. It was Georgia, it was North Carolina, it was Florida. And so if we want to retain industry and attract industry, we realized very quickly that we really needed to elevate that score. So we immediately came back from COP and said, all right, how do we dig into these indicators, these targets, this data, and start creating an actionable roadmap, a strategy that can really start to elevate that ranking? So the first thing I did was call EY and say, is this possible? Can this be done? And so they, of course, said absolutely anything can be done, just a little time and money, right? And so we have, the past 8 months, come around the SDGs with that issue, really dug in, created the baseline, and created some really exciting actionable strategies that we'll start to see ourselves elevating, accelerating. Train Technologies is a member company of ours that is a big part of this acceleration, and you'll hear a little bit more from Scott about that. But why am I sitting up here from South Carolina moderating a panel on the SDGs from ambition to action? And put together the panel, that's just a little background. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our panel. To my left is I have from EY, Matt, and he was going to tell a little bit more about himself, and I'm not going to go into all of his resume right now, but Matt Hansford from Partner and Principal for Climate Change and Sustainability Services with EY. I have Leah Haas, Director of Policy Advocacy and Member Mobilization from WBCSD, as well as Scott Tu, with VP of Sustainability and Managing Director of the Center for Energy with Train Technologies. So we were just going to start off and let them give a little bit more of the bio, and also just a little bit about your organizations from a very high level. So now.
Fantastic. It's a real privilege and pleasure to be on this panel today. I'm excited to have this conversation with my peers. I am a partner with EY, we're a professional services firm, global nature. We have 365,000 employees across 100 different countries. And so when we're thinking about how the UN SDGs, we really think across the span of everything that we do in our workforce and inside client. So, hopefully I can bring some perspective to this discussion and then I'll listen to it.
Thank you, Matt. And so just to briefly introduce myself, I lead policy advocacy and member mobilization at CSD, which is the world's premier CEO-led business organization on sustainable development. We have over 220 member organizations. We also work closely with foundations, with civil society, and it's really about collective ambition, action, and accountability, also around the SDGs. So this is core and fundamental to what we do. Brief photo of myself. I'm German, born and raised in Greece, and I live in Switzerland with my family. And this is my second COP. I'm excited to be here, and I'm especially honored to be hosted by the Coalition for Reforestation. So it's a beautiful space. So thank you.
That's what to be here with you. Thanks also for Coalition for Reforestation. I look forward to EY sponsorship and also effort for putting this together. I think it's an interesting panel. You have a consulting firm, you have for the business community, and our perspective is a bit different. We see ourselves in the decarbonization space, especially for industry and buildings. Flame Technology is the largest global provider of cooling and heating systems. We're also the largest transport refrigeration company. We transport 62% of the world's fresh food every day. So we have a lot of presence in the food systems as well as in the built environment. Particularly decarbonizing fully electric or electric refrigeration systems. And our goal is to decarbonize the built environment now. And we can fully decarbonize commercial buildings. We can fully take fossil fuels out of the building. And that has been the basis of our research and development for over 25 years now. Today, the conversation is all really decarbonizing all those cycles. And so we find ourselves in some of those conversations where we're talking about a global conversation, national, national space, and a state level. And I'm happy here to talk about some of our listeners, even in South Carolina, that are here directly towards decarbonizing.
Thank you, Scott. And I don't think that's us, really, is it? Our microphones? I don't think it's us. I know. Michael would not let that happen. So just to kind of get into the conversation about the SDGs and understanding EY is coming from your own ambitions, but also your clients, and then obviously CLIA, 200 plus CEOs and companies, and in your own in the train. On a very high level, how are you all using the SDG framework in reporting, and how are you seeing your companies use here?
Yes, I'll start with hopefully we make this a big discussion amongst us. So as I mentioned in my opening comments, EY has a really significant global workforce. We have offices in 150 countries. So, when we're thinking about the sustainable development goals, I think one of the things that we think about is, whilst they are global in nature, the implementation needs to be done at the local level. And EY does have a fairly unique footprint that really does kind of understand those functions around the world. So we really try and think about local action across the range of SDGs that we believe are material for what EY has in stakeholders. And so just thinking through what he's taking like freedom of law, clearly we've got an enormous workforce, there's a lot of energy in there, so there's a lot of coalescing around just some of the values that these present to workforce and how we with different countries, but also connectivity around the world. So for us, it's an important foundation framework in a way. I think is why that helps us align what we believe in philosophically against just some of the elements of how do you think about impact. Given that many of these SDGs are already macro in nature, and even the targets are sometimes fairly ambiguous, or can be interested in different ways. So, we're an organization that probably zeroes in on, we say, 3 or 4 SDGs. I think focus on action, obviously, it's very important SDG for us. Also, social justice, social equality, various other elements that we think are important to how we do business and our products into our lives.
To build on that, this is strategy. Our work is very involved with the SDGs. And this actually launched yesterday evening the Business of Climate Recovery report, which focuses on accountability, ambition, how to basically achieve the SDGs, the Paris Climate Agreement, and also implementing other systems. So what we're looking at is not just an agenda, but looking at nature. And that's speaking more specifics about the work and equity agenda, because I think it's so important, especially when we think about reforestations and indigenous communities and local communities. So I have to add more that practically, because we are a global organization. We represent mostly global companies, but not only. We are a cultural organization, so we're developing tools, writing input into standards and verticals. We're hosting this vertical, but also we have collective advocacy on key issues. The way we're driving it to the local level, in addition to obviously working with our members and their teams, is through our global network networks. So we have sustainable business organizations that work on the national level in over 60 countries. And they represent thousands of companies, including SMEs. So the tools that we develop, we then share with them. So we co-develop with our member companies. We share with them based on their team, we translate them overall. So it's really cool to find out some of the reports being translated in Baha'i and Indonesian and so on. And that are being used for local implementation. And it might not be in the village level, or it's on the national level. That's a very particular example of how we can drive impact and make things workable on a national level. There's really interesting work, and I loved when I read the description of this session, happening on the community side. And one thing I would like to mention has been coming up in multiple discussions at this is the focus on local implementation, community discussion, stakeholder engagement, in companies that would say, if we want to get something done, if we want to lay a nature climate equity agenda, stakeholder engagement, especially when we have local implementation, working with local communities is absolutely key. It's kind of an overarching theme that seems to inspire this topic. It's only way forward. That's still.
I think from a business perspective, I think the vision and the SDGs as aspirational for the world we would like to live in. Dedicated down to what is a need for a listed company. So we've used it over 7 years as a sort of a lens for our performance. Just in that way, because it makes a lot of sense. It's better than supporting a framework that we believe is important. So we borrow from the SDGs to inform our own aspirations and beliefs as a company. We also borrow from it as a framework for how we report our progress, disclose and transparent with our progress. And we focus obviously on several of them. Energy is one, energy infrastructure, industry, and many others that include diversity and inclusive work. So most of the SDGs, they're impacting even business. Very local, one company level. And I think that's the beauty of the SDGs. They can be used as a framework for reporting, used as a framework for commitments and aspiration. They can also be used just as a framework to understand the world that we want to be in the future. So we can use it for all of those ways. And it's not the only framework that we felt valuable, but the SDGs have been very valuable to us since 2014.
Well, that's fantastic. So, kind of shifting just a little bit, and this is the conversation we were having before the panel. I think when we look at the SDGs, and it can be overwhelming at times, no poverty, no hunger, reduced inequalities, gender equality, all of these things. But there's also within the SDGs, and when South Carolina is looking at how do we elevate our ranking, there's this huge opportunity with industry innovation and infrastructure, or to really advance local communities through economic innovation. So how do you see utilizing the SDGs really helping the growth as well as promoting new green economic innovation and really bringing that out? Because not just that you measure yourself against them to see what you're doing, but helping it really kind of elevate these new strategies that we can impact our economies and jobs and that.
That's a good question. Here's how we're using it. One of the ways that we use SDGs is to find other partners who are similar aspirations. So whether we're in the States, community, or nationally, looking for other opportunities, not customers so much as partners that you feel great with. Sometimes it's customers, some of our very best customers. Our customers like Mercedes, like Volvo, Michelin, other companies have also based in South Carolina. They're investing at the same level. And it's really great that we're clustered together there because we all have shared similar values and how we operate in the local community. And I think we can do some really good.
I would say that it's not just the SDGs. The SDGs are wonderful because they provide the framework and the goals. Practically speaking, maybe that's something we have to discuss later. We are not doing so as a global community. Right? So it's COVID-19 and the pandemic is actually affecting us and some of them. So we also have to acknowledge the issues and the challenges along the way. What they do, however, and what this framework creates, and what I think overall the sustainability agenda has created for companies is exactly what you mentioned. This idea, this opportunity to invent, to positively differentiate, to create new business opportunities, and yes, to accelerate positive change. Extremely fast. And that's so optimist. But I see it happening right now. So that's really extremely fast. And having a common goal. What we do from a brand system perspective, allowing companies to work together effectively. It always has to be really competitive. We work on the same issues. And work together to discuss them. And industry environments, things that handle. It really allows change. Right? What some issues around sustainability and what can we achieve? No deforestation by 2015. It's not very complicated issue. Years left to go. How can we do this together really fast and make not part of this?
My colleagues I would say they just bring in my programs and stakeholder engagement is absolutely key. This notion of partnership as well as something you mentioned. I think, we see this working well in certain regions. I think the question always for me is how do we take that and really be able to drive change and drive through those partnership activities regions that also need the most as well, and where adaptation is needed, mitigation is needed, where some of the big supplements from the SDGs is actually going to benefit those that are most by need. And those that were, primary respondents for the SDGs are created in the first place. So, I think one of the key things is really being able to elevate much of what happens in developed parts of the world and think about how they can be executed technology, innovation, and finance and video targets and being in these conversations. So I think that spirit of partnership and engagement is actually key to really end-to-end implementation.
And that's really, we're going to skip directly into collaboration and stakeholder engagement, which you all at WBCSD are so phenomenal at. You bring policymakers, investors, the company, and that's a model we use down to the state level. We know that it's not going to happen with just one sector, but it is amazing when we can bring the conservation NGOs, the state agencies, the public policymakers, and as well industry. That's where we're going to start to see that leverage really happening. So we talked a little bit about the measurement, right? And how, I think there's been some concern around that we were reporting out to the framework itself. It's easy to say, okay, we volunteered this many number of hours, or, maybe we reduced our energy use by this percentage by putting in the light bulbs, or whatever the case may be, and then we put the beautiful logo there. But when we dug into the study and really got deep with the why, you realize there are 160 plus targets, 263 indicators, and then it's all of that data that comes behind it. And that data doesn't necessarily always, come back locally. It's not always applicable back locally. So that's one of the issues we've been running into as we've been really trying to digest, is at that state level trying to elevate. So with your own company, with your own companies you represent, how can you use that framework to truly showcase quantitative movements?
For me, it comes down to other folks. We really focus on how business for organizations that feel are responding to the purpose of the SDGs to be able to articulate it's tangible and it's outcomes focused. Sometimes the SDGs are designed to be outcomes focused. Mission action issues and activities and need statements that are to be solved for. And so the solution and outcome measurements are really important. And one of the things that organizations are trying to work through, I think delineating that down to a local level that allows organizations to really be able to use the spirit partnership to demonstrate that tangible outcomes on the ground. Every consensus is looking at. And so outcomes like impact, I think are things that are being increasingly demanded. The parties, the NGOs, advocacies, community activists, to understand, well, how are we supporting us in a local way across this wide range? And so I think we got to really add everything this mission of and very comments
I will focus on one particular example because I think this issue of measurement and ultimately accountability is key. We were discussing yesterday at WBCSD that this will really hopefully the accountability part. Companies have made a lot of commitments around the SDGs, of course, but for example, also in Zoom. So companies have made all these commitments. Now is the time where you're in this companies to show progress in holding themselves accountable to be held accountable. So it's focused on accountability and data, measuring progress, showcasing progress to perspective is absolutely key. We're doing a lot of work in this and WBCSD on impact and looking at Scope 3 emissions. It's area, the one especially of big companies looking at supply chains. And it's very complex. It doesn't mean, however, that it doesn't have to be addressed. And what we have been calling for now is a global accountability framework, because there are a lot of various voluntary mechanisms. Many of which are doing amazing work, partnering with them. At the same time, we need to align, and we also need to simplify for what's complex, because it's incredibly complex to mention to us. So what we can do, working on this accountability space, possibly updating, elevating the greenhouse gas protocol even more, which has been quite a success. How can it be more updated towards immediate? Applicable to the challenges that we're facing today. That's going to be key. To speak much more about accountability, well, there are more topics discussed, but from a business advocacy perspective, that's going to be one of the key areas. And governments are starting to hold other accountable too. I've been at a few sessions where government leaders were announcing their commitments, their work, regardless of what's happening in the national or the official negotiations. We are seeing governments starting up. That's also good news.
I appreciate that it's really important that we understand decarbonizing buildings. So it's fine for these SDGs, it's clean national targets. This modality, which is setting a target, not to net zero against the sun. Too is sometimes that works build its own blueprint on how it gets there. No two companies are completely alike. They're all selling the same things. Any companies sell things like my company sells that they're manufactured their systems to create buildings. So every company must build all of the elements of the plan, including every function that this is in our companies gets into the progress of the progress. I think every company forgets the framework of SDGs and targets, and these are very important. They're keeping the alignment of these.
So we're like 7 years now, six and a half since 2015. So we're getting ready to move into that halfway mark. We're 7 months. My math is a little off. So 7 months. And a year from now, we'll all be sitting here in September and thinking, okay, where are we? We've got 7.5 more years to go. Just keeping this very general so that if I missed anything in between the two, I would like to share. Where do you think we will fall in that 7.5 year point? And what do you think opportunities and challenges are going to be to hit 2050? 2030. My math is really off.
I love it. So it started. I would think my right because you mentioned September. What I will pay attention to next year, and that's November. No, September, and that's what you come pay attention to. It's November, for September. It's the original assembly, and next year it's going to be a very kind of the SDG summit. And it's going to be a bit like a stock take. Stock take is probably working at global stock take at the climate agenda next year. I view it as an interpretation as a stock take on the SDGs. So the SDG summit will look, when Secretary General will look, where are we on the SDGs? And practically speaking, this is what I was referring to earlier, as a global community, we're actually not making that progress. There's been amazing improvements made to girls' education, lots of accomplishments, but not very neat to be actually fallen back into. So, thinking from the opportunity perspective, we have to, business especially, play a key role in showing solutions and progress towards the SDGs and those SDG summits. Because there's got to be a real look from governments, from civil society, from youth, really at this. What kind of solutions exist? We're going to have next year not even 6, so it's going to be not 6 years less than 3 months, 4 months to go until 2030. Business, especially collective business, can provide ideas, solutions, innovations, and private partnerships around the SDGs, around this SDG summit. So if I'm going to be a key space, that's what I would highlight. There's going to be so much for us in this. I wouldn't underestimate it.
I feel like I need to scream. My voice is telling me that I'm okay. Okay. This notion of public-private partnerships is absolutely critical, I think, and we will need to continue to. I think, one thing as we look to the 2030 agenda is going to be thinking about progress. And in my mind, again, speaking of this, I think there is going to be speaking a sense that not enough has been done. And so we have a limited amount of time, again, it's just something similar to genuinely facing during this summer as well, is now less time to essentially do more. And this is why I just think one of the partnerships, the skill and learning is going to be absolutely.
Well, with that, I might open it up to some questions, and I think others would like to make some comments. So, does anyone have any questions? Or and standing up, so you have to ask a question.
So, I think that's great work that you're doing in South Carolina and really tying SDGs into the regions in the U.S. states. And so when you think about, I think that you are 17 and as you nurture frame, for companies, it's really important to get really focused on the ones that they want to drive in their operations and their, current and future operating models to drive that investment. But so when you think about bringing together 1,200 companies, right, that are based in South Carolina, 17 SDGs, what are some of the themes that are across all those diverse companies? Is there any ones that are really coming out that are focused in your region to drive that economic growth?
So, as I said earlier, we're very focused on the six within our mission. But our main themes for South Carolina is the need for just renewable clean energy, right, for all. That is certainly very much our private sector corporations that are demanding that. If you want to retain and attract just some basic and baseline clean energy policy for our state. So that would be a driving factor. Others is really what is the demand of 1,200 companies when it comes to green economic innovation. So I always tell Drain Technologies, they're just an expansion project. They was at COP when you all announced the refrigeration. I came to their call side. I was like, no, just announce the refrigeration technology that you developed that's going right down the street. We're saying it's useful for me. Because if you're doing a beautiful expansion project, I mean, these are all the things that the automobiles are becoming because how can we relate innovation opportunities with also reduce footprint, residents footprint in the state, the challenges are recycling infrastructure is broken, our trash is not as enormous value. And so there are a lot of challenges and a lot of opportunities that are coming up into our area. Anyone else have any questions? Any comments? Yes. So, what is your biggest hope or takeaway from COP27 thus far?
And so just seeing some of the events in that area, I think it would be really interesting. I'm not even going to try and get a crystal ball out there. I don't have one to say I think this is going to be the place about the finishing from what we're not. I think it seems like I was with a low expectation coming into the COP27.
There are a few things. Obviously, policy has work in the finance agenda. It's key. So finance, the organization of finance, which are probably big, rising again. Loss of damage. Obviously, there's considering present work and announcement done. It's a major agenda. And of course, the climate leader space, etc. So I could predict, obviously not, but hopes. What's happening on the sidelines of the official negotiations is something where we have a lot of emotion, especially around the issue building of trust. And conversations happening that previously were not had. The fact that our policymakers, civil society, youth activists, it's a whole youth and I stopped by there and they were chit-chatting with me and taking pictures and how let's work together for next year. I just see this. Please. And this color, regardless of what happens in the official negotiations, that's a big space for trust, sustainable collaboration, and ultimately, let's highlight the importance of the multilateral system and bringing so much of the world together. Because it's more fractured in difficult times. It's so important that it's almost as if the climate in general is still a place that brings us together. And that is something that I hope we the outcome is something that we can build on as a tools for next year.
I'll say from my side, there's a few things. My favorite hashtag is time to act. Because we did a lot of talking. This is my 12th. Many in the past were just trying to agree on a direction, but not a plan. And I think that one of the great things I'm hearing here, that one of the implementation for a reason. Next week, you never know how the copy is until we all back home and it actually ends after we all end it. What really happened. My hope is that the nationalities are taking a page out of the business community's book, and that is a plan and a set of actionable steps that we need to take. The financing is here, the financing is here. There's so much financing in this one. And so all the elements are here. This is going to be for us to do here. Financing, this price points to be applied. And it's still like there are many nations that also, I say, do parameters. These are all good signs.
to be built on that, what he said, and that are very powerful. What would be a really wonderful outcome as well if we see some barriers breaking down. It often seems that these larger UN meetings, that there are almost these specific walls. You have your wall, you have official negotiations on one side, and you have vibrancy, stakeholders, different groups, including business, engaging in discussion around one side. What would be an amazing outcome to see the wall come down and more engagement and more interaction. And we saw that in the beginning, the high level space where it was much more inclusive. Lots of different voices, it's a level to the ground. And if that could become model that works, also is there discussions happening on the UN relationship to that system of knowledge, that would be powerful. Also, for the SDG side, right down to those walls, we need to move fast.
Well, I have very much enjoyed our time together. I want to thank each of you for being part of this conversation. I think it's to be continued. This is just the beginning. Let me tell you, but we're just beginning. Even after 15 COPs, it's like the beginning, not the end of the journey. So thank you to you for being here, and thank you again to the Coalition for Rainforest Nations for hosting us, and thank you all for being a part of today. And look forward to continuing the conversation with each of you.